Grana Weeping Mong, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things Transformers and Transformers action figure related. And today on my channel we're going to be checking a look at issue number 2 of Transformers King Grimlock by IDW. So this is issue number 2. If you want to check a look at issue number 1, I have the full review of issue number 1 currently on this channel. But actually what happens in it, just to have a quick recap, is Grimlock travels to like the Savage Planet type place, and the inhabitants of this planet were already visited by Autobots, as I say in the G1 cartoon, and they want Grimlock to fight for him against the Golden One. So at the end of the last issue, Grimlock kind of just wandered off basically and was like, "Me Grimlock no help you, me Grimlock fight for me." So let's check a look at this issue and start off with this super shiny cover. This is I think this is the limited edition cover. This is super shiny, very good quality card on this one. Awesome looking Transformers King Grimlock with his mighty sword there as well. Issue number 2, and then this awesome design, definitely reminiscent of like those choose your own adventure type books. I love it, absolutely gorgeous. This is a fantastic looking Grimlock as well. Looks a lot better here than he does in some of the cartoon, some of the animation, or some of the drawings even on this. As I've said, I do think his arms are a little bit thin in this one for some reason. But that's an outstanding cover there with him fighting a green beastie. We open it up and we check a look and we get Transformers Grimlock. We get the 3 red takes on Grimlock here. We get the writers, we get the artists, we get the colors, the letters, the editor, the assistant editor, and of course the good old supervising editor. And this is done by IDW Publishing. So we start off this story where the last one finished, and Grimlock has wandered off on his own to kind of go and fight around and try and get his way back to Cybertron. You can see here what I'm talking about with the shoulders here. Just looking too thin. It's just bizarre. Like here, they look nicely proportioned with the rest. Here, they just look too thin. Very weird. But he then goes, and these are kind of the minions of the Golden One that we can see here, getting ready, and Grimlock is about to do battle with them. And we see that Grimlock goes straight into battle, transforms into his Dinobot mode, and fights against these beasties that are from the Golden One. They shout, "For Soltron's chosen!" That'll come into play later on, so we'll have to remember about Soltron's chosen. I think the alt mode here does look very good in this, but you know, good old Grimlock is able to beat these dudes back using his blue flamethrower from his mouth. Absolutely awesome. But unfortunately, because this planet is insane, Grimlock is then captured by these green grassy tongues, as Grimlock puts them. We then see the beastie that Grimlock was fighting with at the beginning, and we see that he is being dragged into the pit. It's kind of like a Sarlacc. So if you're a Star Wars fan, the pit of Sarlacc, it kind of like Transformers version of that. You can see all of the teeth around here, and again, "Me Grimlock eat." So Grimlock then tries to eat these green grassy tongues, but he doesn't do too well, if I'm honest. These things just keep coming at him, and slowly they keep dragging him into, let's just call it a Sarlacc, into the Sarlacc's body, into the Sarlacc's pit. But one of the humans from the planet then jumps in to save Grimlock from himself, and he is who he calls Angry Arco. And so she comes in and she just slices through all of these green tongues, and then says to Grimlock that, you know, you still need to be very careful, because even after you've got rid of all of these tongues, there's still some other challenges that lay ahead here. So they then move on through the body, trying to not get dissolved by the acid, sword swinging as they go, and then eventually they will make their way out of the creature's body. And during this time, they're having a conversation and they explain who Soltron is. And Soltron is the Golden One's god whose face you wear. So this is kind of very similar, obviously, or the Autobot symbol perhaps is the Golden One's god called Soltron. So we're going to find more about this as we go through. And he's saying that you think Grimlock prayed to Sky. So Grimlock then tells about his kind of god. So basically he starts talking about Necrobot and how that every Dinobot hopes that they leave a huge amount of bodies on the battlefield to appease this great chronicler of death Necrobot. Grimlock is also complaining about the fact he didn't ask for Arco's help, and Arco is saying, you'd be melting in digestive juices without me. And then Grimlock says, if me go offline, fighting gutworms, me think Necrobot be proud. Arco is getting pretty pissed off, basically, that Grimlock seems to only be out for himself and says, my father summoned you here to save us. She says that they need his strength, but it's nothing without wisdom. And as we know, certainly Grimlock lacks a little bit of wisdom. So she starts to try to anger Grimlock to make him fight. She starts to call him an animal and starts to wield her sword, draw her sword, and actually Grimlock draws his sword back at her, and then she tries to smash him, but Grimlock just ignores her. And then Grimlock says, me Grimlock no crush you. That annoys her even more, but Grimlock kind of likes her and says, you Arco angry. Me like that. You smart, you also still weak, crushing you too easy. Arco then kind of opens up a little bit to Grimlock and basically says that she's kind of looking for a mentoring relationship with him because she has a mind for this place, but she wants Grimlock to really teach her about strength. And in return, she will teach him about Menoria. Grimlock, of course, says, you Arco want to learn fight for yourself. So Grimlock kind of agrees to this mentoring relationship as they go through it. And then they see a whole village on fire. At this point, you kind of get a bit of a role reversal because Grimlock actually wants to go and help this burning village, where Arco is kind of saying they cannot fend for themselves and kind of wants to leave them to try to learn to fight for themselves. And she says, if I save them, I'm strong, not them. So she wants to kind of raise her whole planet to go against these people. But then Grimlock is like, no, me Grimlock also say he no crush weak Angorians like you Arco. So he's gonna go and start to attack these people. He can see that these beasts are attacking the human population, and Grimlock dives into the fight. And this time he has Arco right in the back of him. So together, they take down these kind of wooden creatures that have been sent there, in this case by the red-handed wizard that's a necromancer type jobby. Grimlock, of course, unleashes his blue flame flow all the way through this, and then we go back to the Golden One's palace, where these minions of his are saying that they're so sorry for failing. They failed to bring Grimlock back to him. And of course, as punishment, the Golden One zaps them away out of existence until they are just a pile of ash. What's quite interesting here is we see that the Golden One is rocking an Autobot logo. So that is pretty interesting. And this is why he prays to that god. So which god is he praying to? Golden One? Bumblebee? Is it Bumblebee? Is Bumblebee running a secret sideshow where he's an evil thing, or if it's from the Shattered Glass universe? He also says that if he won't actually fight, if Grimlock won't fight alongside the Golden One, it's okay. Because if he raises his sword against the red-handed wizard, he's basically still doing the work for the Golden One himself. So either way, the Golden One is getting what he wants. Grimlock is kind of looking at these bodies of the things that he just destroyed and saying that they're not like him, they're not like Autobots, they're not like Decepticons, they are something dead. Arco says, of course they are, I told you the Red Wizard is a necromancer. And she explains that these are kind of wood creatures that he sends out, and they're more like tools, they're not alive, they're more like hammers. Grimlock responds, them wood bots, not hammers. So he kind of sees them as almost like automatons that are kind of sent to do the bidding of this red-handed wizard. And Grimlock decides then and there he is going to go and get the red-handed wizard. He is going to kill the red-handed wizard. This annoys Arco because this is what Arco asked them to do about the Golden One, and she can't understand why Grimlock would go after the red-handed wizard but not the Golden One. It seems to be more of a personal grudge rather than anything. Grimlock doesn't care and says, me Grimlock punish red-hand wizard. So he's gonna go and do that. So we will see in the next issue how Grimlock fights with this wizard. Arco kind of is a bit dismayed by this and says, you have nothing to teach me, you're just as weak as everybody else. So where we saw them getting a little bit closer in this issue, maybe in the next issue they're going to be a little bit further apart, because Arco is starting to see there is basically no way to get the stubborn Grimlock to help them and support them. Grimlock is going to continue to do what he wants to do, even if it is seemingly petty and just about vengeance. The next issue, we can see this absolutely awesome old school art. This reminds me of what we used to get with the Marvel Comics art. And is this a take on Beast Wars? Is this supposed to be like a Beast Wars Megatron? What do you think with that head being there? Have they tried to make him look a little bit like Beast Wars Megatron? That's quite cool. I think if there's maybe a little nod to it there. Then we also get the comic book cover that I've got there. We get this comic book cover that, yeah, I don't like that. Don't like that one. We also got this awesome cover art here of him in his bot mode that is just absolutely fantastic. And at the back of every single one of these, we are getting a character bio as if you were doing a paper roleplay with the strength, intelligence, speed, endurance, firepower, skill, and rank, and a little bio here as well. So that's pretty cool, and the artwork on the side, so that's nice. Halloween special is coming very soon, Starscream, so that's awesome. And then Star Trek Mirror War is also coming. I do not read Star Trek comics, I didn't even know they existed. Then there's also G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe, not something that I really read either, unless there is a crossover with Transformers. And then the last run-in as well, which I believe is Turtles, right? I think, yeah, it says it right there. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then on the back, we get awesome Transformers, King Grimlock. So yeah, issue 2 was okay, maybe a little bit filler, trying to build up the relationship between Arco and Grimlock. I'm looking forward to the next issue, probably, hopefully a little bit more action-packed as he does battle with the red-handed necromancer. Let me know your thoughts on this one down in the comments. Are you enjoying this series? Have you picked it up? Is it everything that you expected? And I'll see you in my next video. Alright guys, in a bit. Peace!